Good morning, everyone. I'm Noor and this is Lena. And you're watching The Talk. We'll be talking about the most viral and trending news today, and I'm sure by now we can all guess that.
As we all know, the world has recently been disturbed with the ongoing pandemic, COVID-19. In 2020, COVID-19 swept the world, and with it came a variety of different scenarios. The pressure of blockades and barriers between nations, thousands of doctors and nurses working day and night in the dark abyss, the panic of large numbers of people, the rise of all kinds of crises. Diseases like invisible talons affected and threatened human life.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a severe acute respiratory syndrome. It was first identified in December 2019 in China and has resulted in an ongoing pandemic. As of the 25th July 2020, more than 17 billion people,
which resulted with several deaths, and this has caused a range of symptoms reported, ranging with severe
mild
illnesses.
symptoms to severe illnesses.
Those symptoms may appear from 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. Symptoms include fever, chills, coughing, difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, loss of taste or smell, nausea or vomiting. This does not include all possible symptoms. CDC will continue to update this list as we learn more about COVID-19. Let's watch a video about that.
So the whole family of coronaviruses are named coronavirus because corona means crown. And so this refers to the way that the virus looks under the microscope, like there's a crown on the top of the virus. Some of them, 4 or 5 different kinds, cause common diseases among humans. Everything from the common cold to mild or moderate respiratory illnesses. Other kinds of coronaviruses affect animals. And sometimes, on rare occasions, we see coronaviruses jump from animal species into the human population. The 2019 novel coronavirus is getting a lot of attention now because it is a new kind of coronavirus we haven't seen among humans before. The theory is that it may have jumped from an animal species into the human population and then begun spreading. We have seen some people that have died of this disease, and we know that there are already thousands of cases. So people are concerned because we don't yet know exactly how severe the disease will be or how far it will spread. When a new virus emerges, we often have to learn much more about it. And one of the things that we question is, how does it transmit from person to person? We know that most respiratory viruses are spread by large droplets that come out when people cough and sneeze and stay aloft usually for about 6 feet in front of them. They land on surfaces and then can also be transmitted between person to person by touching those surfaces, such as doorknobs or other surfaces. Other viruses can spread in the air and stay aloft for a longer period of time in small droplet nuclei. For this current 2019 coronavirus, we're not yet sure whether it is droplet or airborne transmission. So we're erring on the side of caution and taking protection as if it was spread by the airborne route. We're still learning a lot about this 2019 novel coronavirus to understand how dangerous it might be. Right now, the majority of the cases are in China. We know that some travelers have brought the virus to other countries, including the United States. I think one of the main things to keep in mind is that this is respiratory virus season, and we have other respiratory viruses like influenza that we need to take precautions because we know we have thousands of cases and thousands of deaths in this country every year from influenza. Given the ongoing transmission of the virus in China, we have a travel alert that was issued by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So at this time, until we know more, avoid non-essential travel to China. Johns Hopkins Health System and health systems across the nation are busy right now preparing to safely identify, isolate, evaluate, and care for patients with the 2019 novel coronavirus. We have the capability of doing this safely by utilizing personal protective equipment, by implementing travel screening so that we can quickly identify patients who have risk factors for the disease, and then implementing isolation precautions, the use of personal protective equipment, and other measures to make sure that we limit the spread of the virus. At the Johns Hopkins Hospital and throughout our health system, we routinely care for patients infected with diseases that are spread by the airborne route. So we have expertise to do this safely. When a new virus comes along that has unknown risks, we have extra measures that we can put in place, including our biocontainment unit that can advise us and put plans in place to safely care for these patients.
There are several aspects of self-protection. For example, wearing a mask will basically block the transmission of the respiratory tract, whether it's in the form of droplets or aerosols. It can be avoided after wearing a mask. Second, avoiding contact and spread. If you touch something you may carry the virus, you need to wash your hands frequently. Drinking plenty of water to keep the oral mucosa moist. If the oral mucosa is dry and cracked, it is especially easy to be invaded. Keeping it moist will avoid the invasion and improve your own immunity. Pay attention to rest and never stay up late. Let's watch a video of a simplified summary of COVID-19 infection prevention.
There's lots of information out there about how we should be protecting ourselves and others from COVID-19. Definitely, the best practices for prevention against COVID-19 are these measures: social distancing, staying home, especially when ill, not touching your face, and washing your hands. As researchers learn more about COVID-19 every day, guidelines may expand to adapt to the new information, so we should also be adaptable as we stay informed. One of these measures is the new CDC recommendation of wearing face coverings in public. Coronavirus travels in droplets called respiratory droplets that are propelled from the spray of a cough or sneeze. But research now suggests that droplets may even be emitted from just speaking or breathing and can potentially last in the air for 3 hours before falling to the ground. So how do face masks help us? There are different types, but the most common ones you're probably hearing about are N95 respirators, surgical masks, and cloth masks. Medical-grade N95 respirators have a tight seal against the face and are designed to filter out 95% of particles, even the ones that are really small, up to 0.3 microns. Coronavirus, which is even smaller, only 50 to 200 nanometers, can travel in respiratory droplets of various sizes. So we rely on N95 respirators to filter out pretty much all large droplets and most small ones that may contain the virus. Having these respirators available for healthcare providers is critical to ensure they can treat their patients without sacrificing their own health and safety, and so they must be reserved for healthcare workers. Surgical masks are loose-fitting, so are mostly intended as a physical barrier, not a filtration device. They protect the wearer against large respiratory droplets, but not smaller particles, so are not considered reliable respiratory protection by the CDC. But they do protect others from the mask wearer's own respiratory droplets released from coughing, sneezing, and exhaling. Surgical masks should also be reserved for healthcare workers. The CDC now recommends cloth face coverings for the general public, masks made from a simple t-shirt, for example, for when you do need to go outside for essentials like to the grocery store or the pharmacy. Some states in the US have already started mandating this as well. Even so, the best practice is to practice social distancing and stay at home, but for essential outings, you should cover your mouth and nose with a cloth barrier. Cloth masks can act as a physical barrier and protect others from the respiratory droplets that you emit. You may not feel like others need protection from you, especially if you're not feeling sick. But the CDC estimates that 25% of people infected with the novel coronavirus don't show symptoms and feel fine, but they can still transmit the virus to other people around them. So it's a better safe than sorry practice. The only risk? You may start to believe it's protecting you more than it actually is and be fooled into a false sense of security. You may feel safer wearing a mask, but remember, it's meant to protect others around you, not yourself. The best way to keep yourself safe is with social distancing and washing your hands often and well. And once you get home, be sure to remove your mask without touching the contaminated outside part of the mask and wash it before your next use. The novel coronavirus can survive on objects from hours to days, depending on the material. Research so far estimates it can survive on copper for 4 hours, on cardboard for 24 hours, and on plastic and stainless steel for around 72 hours. This is still early research, so it could potentially survive even longer. This means that in addition to washing your hands often and for 20 seconds each time, you should disinfect frequently touched surfaces regularly, like your countertops, phone, doorknobs, light switches, and faucets. A good disinfectant is something with 70% alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. You can also use a bleach solution. These work best when you let the solution sit on the surface for 30 seconds to a minute before wiping it down. You can make your own bleach solution by mixing 5 tablespoons of bleach per gallon of water. 3% hydrogen peroxide also works if you wait 1 minute before wiping it down. Commercial wipes contain an ingredient called quaternary ammonium, which is also efficient in disinfecting when you follow the directions on the label. Be sure to never mix cleaning products because they can create dangerous, toxic chemical reactions. So what can you do when you have to leave your home for, say, groceries? A good exercise when you're out is to assume everyone around you is infected, and you yourself are as well, and act accordingly. This will keep you aware of what you touch and your distance from others. Be extra careful not to touch your face and minimize touching your personal belongings. When you get home, wash your hands immediately and disinfect any items you may have touched while out, like car keys and your phone. Your concern should be more about the people around you than the groceries you're bringing home. Your risk of being infected by a virus living on your groceries is very low, so there's no need to disinfect every item as long as you do these things. Wash your hands after unpacking groceries, disinfect countertops after unpacking them, and wash your hands before cooking and before eating, which you should be doing all the time anyways.
This video was actually created and produced by a Yale neuroscience PhD student named Clara Liu, with medical review from her professor. I think that was pretty insightful. Hope it has given you the knowledge you needed. Now moving on to one of our very potential guests today, Mr. John. Could you please introduce yourself and share with us some precautions about the COVID-19 situation?
So hi, I'm
Hello.
Mr. Jan. So
Hello, Mr.
currently
Jan.
I'm actually working in Intel as their people system. So in Intel we are actually very, we look very highly upon the precautionary measures that we are taking to prevent the COVID-19 to enter our factory. So one of, in a general term, there are actually a lot of things that we need to take care of, like the hand sanitizers, face masks, and social distancing, but that are on a general scale. And
So in Intel, we always think that everyone belongs to a very suspicious group, where in your group of friends, maybe there might be someone that has this virus. So you always have to be very
careful on things like this. So avoid touches for contamination.
very careful on things like avoid taking off your face mask and avoid getting in very large amount of people. So the second thing is that we have to do a very good job on self-protection. So meaning that we have to constantly use the hand sanitizer. We have to constantly have the face mask on whenever and wherever, unless you're home. And do avoid contact with sick people, where if you know that they are going in and out of the hospital, just try to avoid having contact with them for at least 14 days. So the last thing is that the source of infection must be strictly controlled. And like if you know that you are going somewhere, like for example, let's say you have a business trip to Sabah or Sarawak, you need to take a flight. So that you need to, after you come back, you have to do the self-quarantine to ensure that if anything that happens during that time, go to the hospital immediately. Yeah. During that time, go to the hospital immediately. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is all I want to share. Yeah.
Working during the MCO or the beginning of this outbreak?
Yeah, thank you.
During the MCO or the beginning of this outbreak?
Okay, so at the beginning of the MCO, I was working from home. So I was working from home for around a month and a half. So only until around the end of April, I'm able to go to the factory. Yeah. So the rest of the time, I was like working in between, like working from home and working on site.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out. So we have this like rotary measure. So like everyone must only work on site for 2 days for the beginning of like the CMCO, conditional MCO. So after that, now it's the RMCO phase, where at the initial phase, we are asked to work around like 3 days a week. And right now we are fully on site.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Here today.
Thank you for your time.
Goodbye. Since we're here, we could also shed some light over this outbreak, specifically here in Malaysia. On the 16th of March 2020, Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin made an official speech and officially promulgated the Movement Control Order under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988 and the Police Act 1967. The order included the following restrictions: general prohibition of mass movements and gatherings across the country, including religious, sports, and social and cultural activities. To enforce this prohibition, all of the houses of worship and business premises would be closed except for supermarkets, public markets, grocery stores, and convenience stores selling everyday necessities. Specifically for Muslims, the adjournment of all religious activities in mosques, including Friday prayers, would be in line with the decision made on the 15th of March 2020 by a special Muzakkara committee meeting of the National Fatwa Council.
More restrictions include sanctions covering all Malaysians traveling abroad. Now, for those who have just returned from overseas, they would be required to undergo a health check and a 14-day quarantine or self-quarantine.
Restrictions on the entry of all tourists and foreign visitors into the country.
More restrictions include the closure of all kindergartens, government and private schools, including daily schools, boarding schools, international schools, tahfiz centers, and other primary, secondary, and pre-university institutions.
Moreover, the closure of all public and private higher education institutions and skills training institutes nationwide.
Closure of all government and private premises, except those involved in essential services like water, electricity, telecommunications, oil, gas, broadcasting, banking, pharmacy, retail, and food supply.
On the 18th of March, Malaysia began the implementation of the Movement Control Order, and the first extension of the MCO lasted until the 14th of April. On the 10th of April, the Prime Minister announced a second extension of the MCO by another fortnight until the 28th of April, noting that this decision was to give space to the healthcare personnel battling the COVID-19 outbreak, apart from preventing the virus from spreading again, and to avoid another increase of the cases if the MCO is lifted too early.
On the night of 23rd of April, Muhyiddin announced a third extension of the MCO by 2 weeks till the 12th of May, with the possibility of further extensions. The Royal Police, Malaysian Police, initially warned that the violators of the MCO's regulation may be subjected to various penalties under the Penal Code. The Conditional Movement Order was scheduled to start from the 4th of May, where the regulations included most economic sectors and activities are allowed to operate while observing the business standard operation procedures such as social distancing and recording the names and telephone numbers of customers and the dates of their visits.
Sports activities involving large gatherings, body contact, and other risks of infection are not allowed. Outdoor sports activities which do not involve body contact in small groups without an audience and involving not more than 10 persons are allowed on the condition that social distancing is practiced.
Social, community, and cultural events, which involve large gatherings, as well as all types of official events and assemblies, are not permitted.
Religious activities and all congregational or assembly activities in houses of worship are not allowed.
Interstate travel is not allowed, well, except for work purposes and to return home after being stranded in hometowns or elsewhere.
On the 7th of June, the Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin announced that the Conditional Movement Control Order would end on 9 June with the country entering into the Recovery Movement Control Order phase between the 10th of June and the 31st of August.
Now, Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaqub announced that sectors under the purview of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, such as meetings, incentives, conventions and exhibitions, travel and trade fairs, as well as spa and wellness centers, would be allowed to open from the 1st of July. However, tourism businesses are required to abide by social distancing measures, limit crowds to 200 to 250 people, check customers' temperatures, wear face masks, and provide hand sanitizers. Both government and private preschools, kindergartens, nurseries, daycare centers would resume operations from the 1st of July because home-based learning initiatives throughout the duration of MCO schools nationwide were closed during that period.
Under the RMCO, a range of business and activities have been allowed to resume operations, including spas, wellness and foot massage centers, cinemas, meetings, seminars, weddings, birthdays, and religious gatherings. In addition, swimming in public, hotel, condominium, gated community, and private pools have also been allowed. Let's watch a video about that.
Okay, it has been 30 days since Malaysians started living under the Movement Control Order, implemented on March 18 to curb the COVID-19 pandemic. Many things have changed. Life in the city does not seem so busy. Schools and educational institutions are still closed. Only essential services are allowed to continue, and many are using this break to be with their families. Right now, the question that is burning in the minds of most people is when will this MCO end? But some people enjoy this rare holiday. How does MCO really affect our daily lives? Does it change our ways of thinking? I told you guys, commercial break.
It looks so dull. The mirror is not the problem. Every day your skin loses its natural glow because of germs, dirt, and pollution. New Dettol Radiance. Unlike ordinary soaps, it removes germs and rejuvenates your skin with vitamin C and B3 for that natural glow that's a true reflection of good health. New Dettol Radiance. Dettol, be 100%. What's happening to my skin? It looks so dull. The mirror is not the problem. Every day your skin loses its natural glow because of germs, dirt, and pollution. New Dettol Radiance. Unlike ordinary soaps, it removes germs and rejuvenates your skin with vitamin C and B3 for that natural glow that's a true reflection of good health. New Dettol Radiance. Dettol, be 100% sure.
It's been a few days since Malaysians started living under this movement control order implemented on the 18th of March to curb the COVID-19 pandemic. Many things have changed. Life in the city does not really seem so busy anymore. Schools and educational institutions are still closed. Only essential services are allowed to continue. And many are using this break to to spend time with their families. Right now, the question that is burning the minds of most people is, when will this MCO end? But some people really happen to be enjoying this rare holiday. How does MCO really affect our daily lives? Does it change our way of thinking?
Here we have invited one more guest, House. Let's hear what he's doing during the MCO. Hello, House. Welcome to the talk show. Around that incident.
Hello, House. Is House here?
Hello.
I think House is not here.
We're having some troubles with the connection.
I can't see House here. What happened? Guys, please. I'm so sorry for this delay. If you can hear us.
Hmm?
We're in the call,
Yeah.
but I don't happen to see anyone in the call. Can we take a break at least to try to solve this problem? I think there's a problem with the call. I think it would be for the best if we take a break, because there's a lot of technical problems here that I'm not able to deal with. So please, guys, if we can.
لينا شوفي هذا.
You want great hair?
Pero tututsyang tutsyang
Kahit sobrang effort,
nagtututsyang tutsyang
may sagot right here.
Pag nagtututsyang tutsyang
New Pantene Miracle Conditioner with real collagen. Smooths out to Chang easily for frizz-free smoothness, even up close. New Pantene Collagen Miracle Collection. Also available collagen treatment shots.
You want great hair?
Pero tututsyang tutsyang
Kahit sobrang effort,
nagtututsyang tutsyang
may sagot right here.
Pag nagtututsyang tutsyang
New Pantene Miracle Conditioner with real collagen. Smooths out to Chang easily for frizz-free smoothness, even up close. New Pantene Collagen Miracle Collection. Also available collagen treatment shots.
You want great hair?
Pero tututsyang tutsyang
Kahit sobrang effort,
nagtututsyang tutsyang
may sagot right here.
Pag nagtututsyang tutsyang
New Pantene Miracle Conditioner with real collagen. Smooths out to Chang easily for frizz-free smoothness, even up close. New Pantene Collagen Miracle Collection. Also available collagen treatment shots.
You want great hair?
Pero tututsyang tutsyang
Kahit sobrang effort,
nagtututsyang tutsyang
No meeting, Sue. No standby. There's no meeting. Please don't turn it on. Repeat the commercial again.
They said there is no meeting.
Sobrang effort.
Nagtututsyang-tutsyang.
May sagot right here.
Nagtututsyang-tutsyang.
New Pantene Miracle Conditioner with real collagen.
Okay.
Wait, we can't. This is too complicated.
Stand by.
Come. I have to.
One.
I can't
So-
hear. I can't hear. Can you come? It's in Chinese, man.
I think it's best if you put your laptop in here.
Can I hear? Wait a minute.
Can you remove the headphones?
It is.
Okay.
Can I? Hello.
Hajar, can you hear us?
Hello?
Okay.
Okay, go.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on one
Hold
second.
on.
For real? 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So now we have Hajar Medhat, live from Cairo, Egypt. Hajar is an Egyptian student pursuing her bachelor's degree in mass communication. And today she's going to talk to us about the situation there in Egypt during the lockdown as she provides us with more insight. Hey Hajar, we're very glad to have you here.
We're very glad to have you here today with us.
Family are doing great.
Family are doing great and you're staying safe.
I'm glad to be here with you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, we want to ask you a question. Can you give us an idea about how the situation is right now in Egypt? And in which phase of the country are you in right now, of the MCO?
Well, to begin with, the lockdown has been recently lifted in Egypt, and everyone is free to go wherever they want. However, there are some rules to limit the crowding in certain places, as only 25% of people are allowed in malls and cafes and places like that. Also, to answer your question, the situation is stable in Egypt, as the recovery rate is actually increasing. However, we haven't reached the peak in Egypt yet, and that's pretty alarming.
Okay. So you said 25% of people are allowed. So there are regulations. People are trying to.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay, Hajar, how drastic was the change in your, let's say, lifestyle during the lockdown, and how would you, let's say, spend your time?
Well, when the lockdown first started, I had lots of projects and assignments from uni. So I didn't have any time to do anything else. So I spent most of my time doing assignments and finishing projects. And when I had my free time, I would basically watch Netflix or something like that.
And you were doing all of that from home, right?
Yes, exactly. Online studying.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Also, Hajar, have you been going out when the MCO has been lifted? And if so, what are the precautions you take when you go out?
Well, personally, I rarely go out because honestly, I'm scared, for my family and friends and stuff.
Yeah,
but when I do go out, I typically take a mask and I take my hand sanitizer everywhere. And I also wear gloves when, in cases of I don't stay in my car, I wear my gloves.
Okay. You think people are actually doing the same? They're trying to take similar precautions, or is it a little bit?
Not really. It's a bit.
Not really.
It's messed up because Egypt is very big. You can't control everyone.
The population is very.
For the best. Yeah.
Okay. Hope everything goes well.
Are there any consequences for people who don't wear masks or don't practice social distancing?
Yeah, and certain places, I personally went to markets and places like that. They don't actually allow people who are not wearing a mask, and that's pretty good. And also, as I said, the 25% of people are only allowed inside the places. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, most of the countries around the world are kind of recovering from this virus, as we know. Yet the curve in Egypt seems to be still rising. How does this affect you psychologically?
Well, yeah, as I said, the peak hasn't, we haven't reached the peak yet, and that's scary. But recently, it was said that some Egyptian researchers are working on developing a COVID-19 vaccine. And personally, that makes me feel a little bit hopeful, even if it's not promised. But I feel relief, and we
Feel
hope
like
for the
you need
best, of course.
of hope to hold
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Yeah.
And still, the country is stable, so
You feel like things are stable. Things are at least trying to get better.
Yes, exactly.
That's great.
You mentioned you're a university student. So
Mhm.
are you from home currently? And how do you feel about the whole online learning experience?
Yes, I'm currently done with my semester, but yes, I actually worked from home. I submitted everything from home, and yeah, it was pretty much good, but I was feeling stressed because I'm not very friendly with technology, and
Yeah.
also I faced lots of technical issues in submitting. But overall, I can tell it's a successful experience.
Do you feel like it gave you some sort of a different perspective of how virtual classes could be like? Because if you think about it, we never really had an alternative to physical classes,
Yes, exactly. For a first experience, it's pretty much good.
Okay. Yeah, because some people thought it was mentally disturbing.
I'm one of those people. I was actually very stressed, but I don't know, I got used to it. But I'm not ready for another semester, for another online semester. I really hate this.
So the other semester is planned to be hopefully physical?
Yeah, they
Conducted-
said that we can actually go to uni, for example, 2 days a week, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of
Gotcha.
going the whole week.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
All right. Next question. Do you think
Okay.
you wanted to ask something?
Yeah, I
Alright,
wanted to ask
okay.
something. So many people have discovered hobbies and skills during the quarantine. Have you developed any new skill?
Yes, I actually, when the semester was over, I made some TikToks. And I also had this I had this old keyboard, so I thought I would learn how to play it, and I actually learned a few songs, which is good.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's it.
Do you feel like you wouldn't have done this if you didn't have so much time, if quarantine didn't have?
Yes, definitely. I would never thought of the keyboard thing or TikTok. I mean,
That's great. I'm really happy for you.
That's amazing.
thank you.
Okay, moving on. Do you think that life will ever go back to normal anytime soon?
I don't think so. I don't know, because I mean it's been so long, and we've been hoping that it would go back to normal, but it didn't. So but it's slowly, maybe.
Slowly. Can you have like an approximation of when things will go back to normal?
Yeah, like a prediction. Would you like, we would all at the beginning of it, we would have those predictions of, you know what, I feel like this is going to end in 4 months. You know what?
Mm.
Do you have
Maybe
a prediction?
maybe in a year.
Oh, really?
Really?
That's
I
concerning.
believe that. We haven't reached the peak.
Yeah, concerning ages.
Well,
Let's
we
hope
hope
for the
that
best.
we hope that everything goes
Of course.
guys and for the rest of the world.
I hope you stay safe,
Thank you.
positive.
It's all going to be okay. All right. Enjoy
All right,
your
thank
hobbies.
you.
Your
Have a
stay.
nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Hajar, thank you so much for being here today. It was very nice having you. And now we're going to proceed here into
We'll have a
watching a
video.
couple of videos concerning the situations in different parts of the world, which is regarding the United States of America.
The coronavirus now has 1 in 4 Americans living in lockdown.
Every American has a role to play in defending our nation from this invisible, horrible enemy. So we say stay at home and save lives.
On Saturday, New Jersey joined California, New York, Illinois, and Connecticut in ordering residents to stay at home and shuttering non-essential businesses to minimize transmission of the disease. Orders affecting nearly 85 million Americans.
We can no longer maintain a sense of business as usual during this emergency. And again, I repeat, just as it is no time to panic, but it is time to be smart,
you please open your
proactive,
camera,
transparent,
Chul?
aggressive.
Wait, later
Epicenter of the US
Okay.
terror attack in
Just
New
making
York.
sure. We're just making
2,000
sure. Okay?
residents have tested positive for the virus.
So now we
the governor
start?
says his state, like others, has a problem.
We do have an issue with younger people who are not complying. You're not Superman and you're not Superwoman. You can get this virus and you can transfer the virus.
And in California, home to 40 million Americans, some business owners are boarding up shops to prevent looters as hoarders are emptying grocery store shelves.
The idea of stockpiling is a way to feel in control about a situation that feels out of control. It's a way to feel like, I know no matter what happens, I will not run out of what I need.
With new transmissions and increased testing, the number of U.S. cases is approaching 23,000, with nearly 300 deaths. More than 80 million Americans have been ordered to stay at home, so for about a quarter of the United States, the most common street sound is silence.
And to the republic for which it stands.
On Capitol Hill, congressional leaders hope to approve nearly $2 trillion in aid to businesses and residents as soon as Monday. But some governors say they are making progress despite a lack of federal help.
The federal government is like Lucy with the football, and I feel like Charlie Brown. Weeks ago, we were promised tests. Are we seeing more tests? Yes, but not even at the numbers that were promised weeks ago.
With coronavirus cases rising rapidly across the U.S., state leaders say time is running out. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Chicago.
Okay.
Here we have invited one more guest, House. Let's hear what he's doing during the MCO. Hello, House. Welcome to our show, The Talk.
Hello.
Probably one.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Nice to meet
Can
you.
you please, nice to meet you too. Can you please introduce yourself and share some of your experience around the incident and the whole MCO?
Okay. My name is House. This is my nickname, and I'm from Korea. And now I'm studying medical knowledge in Masa University, and I'm doing the practical in Peak-Care Hospital Kuala Lumpur. And I'm going to talk about what I'm doing during MCO. Yeah, MCO has been a few months now, right? And in fact, when the MCO first announced, I was very unhappy because I have to say how every day, and I used to classroom, and then I always finish really at night. So on the weekend, I only spend time with my friends. I can enjoy my those hobbies.
Yeah.
But just during MCO, I just cannot even hang out with my friends on weekend. I cannot even go shopping, and even I cannot watch movie with my friends, and I just cannot do anything. And then I cannot lose my stress from this working. So nowadays I'm really feeling boring, and also I really wanted to finish earlier this MCO, and I always have complained about those things. Yeah.
We're so sorry.
And yeah.
So the MCO
Because,
is still ongoing?
but now the recently, yeah, the restaurant and cinema and some bars, they
Can you
open.
please
Right?
tell us about your whereabouts?
Sorry, you mean now?
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm staying at home. Still, yeah.
Oh, I mean, where exactly? Which country do you say in?
Which country? Now I'm staying in Malaysia because I'm
Malaysia,
also
okay.
need to connecting with my university, and still yeah. Now we need to do something in here. Yeah, I can't go back. Yeah.
So did you have to go out to deal with patients or anything during the Like, or is it like you were bored because you were at home, or because you had to deal with other things, or what is it
Oh,
about?
because I'm not a professional. I'm still the practitioner.
You're still
So
okay.
I can't go and see the patients. I'm just doing the simulation. Yeah, they just give me
Yeah. Okay.
some cases, and then I'm doing practical in
Mm.
the home.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you've got some insights through this experience, and that it's not too tough for you. It's okay. I think we've all reached a point of complaining. Yeah. But I think it's great if we could use our time wisely to do things that we've never really had the chance to do, especially
Yeah.
with all the.
Also, I'm a medical student, so also before I learned there was the COVID ID, the virus. So can I share with those knowledge about the COVID
Of
ID
course.
virus?
Yes, of course. Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Maybe now all the people, I believe that everyone knows that the obvious symptoms of COVID ID. Do you guys know? Such
We know.
as
Share with us others.
like just like very common things like fever and
The
cough.
common things.
Everybody they check the fever temperature in the shop, right? In the market.
Yeah.
These symptoms seem to be similar to the flu. Yeah, flu.
Yeah.
Very similar.
That's
So
true.
you cannot distinguish easily, and the cannot really say that is already we got the infection by the COVID ID virus. Yeah. So it's really difficult to confirm that diagnosis. Yeah. And so if we just have fever, then we have to fever or cough, and we have to go and see the doctor and check and confirm whether we have COVID ID, because the COVID ID virus is really highly infectious to the people and really fast. It's really fast. So should be protecting by ourselves, and also we need to careful to contact with other people. Yeah, we still need to care the social distance. Yeah. Because now we keep increasing like cases, and even now in Korea, before we thought it's really fine, and the cases is really decreased, and also almost done. We thought, but I don't know. Just like once, like people they just so happy to hang out with friends, and just once increase the 1,000, and and then everybody shocked, and everybody they still cannot go out and they cannot enjoy their life.
Yeah, I think people should start taking their precautions, especially that most of the countries started opening everything up due to the economic state. So I think people should try to take care of themselves by themselves, or otherwise this is gonna continue on spreading. Yeah.
Also we need to care the hygiene, and also wear the mask, proper mask. And we also need to learn how to wear the mask properly. Also we need to learn how to washing hand properly. Those things we need to care.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you so much.
You've been such a great knowledge for us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Okay.
30-second comedy break.
What?
30-second break. Until when? We're gonna be.
So it's fine. There's a VT. Moving on, here we got some issues around one of Malaysia's top universities, UCSI University. UCSI is vigilantly monitoring and responding to new information about the COVID-19's outbreak. Following the movement control order implemented by the government, where only essential services are operating on campus, in the line with the coordinated and informed approach, they have introduced a range of precautionary measures that are considered to be necessary. In this period, there is no positive tested COVID-19 cases at the UCSI campus up to date. It has adjusted to make sure that they can accommodate to the needs of the students during this period.
UCSI is also advising the campus community to reduce the risk of exposure by sending the periodic reminder notices to the campus community with recommendations on how to recognize symptoms and prevent exposure. Students can get regular updates on the UCSI website or social media such as Facebook and Instagram as well.
Now, as the situation evolves, UCSI will continue to monitor and develop plans for any potential impact to its operation. UCSI is committed to ensuring that online teaching and learning and exams, final assessments, online databases, and ebooks for students to access from home are provided throughout this period. Moreover, the online classes are recorded. Students can download and view the classes in case they don't really have a good internet connection.
UCSI takes into consideration the health and safety measures of the students and the school staff. They are following the standard operating procedure and guidelines for the reopening of the school. For the entrance to the campus area, there is a body temperature scanning checkpoint upon accessing the campus, and MySagittera QR code is provided for students and staffs to check in. Besides that, there is some awareness information at the entrance, such as students and staffs have to wear masks at all times, good hand hygiene practice while in campus, physical distancing while on campus, and no handshaking culture. Also, all building entrances are equipped with hand sanitizer. Let's watch a video about it.
The thing I miss the most here is the time that I spend with my friends. I miss my friends.
The interaction between friends. First, of course, my friends. To be my friends, doing lab reports with my friends.
I miss hanging out with my friends.
I actually quite miss the practice rooms here.
When I arrived during the parking the station, right, the security will actually check our temperature. They will actually inquire which block that we are actually going for and what's the purpose.
And for me, I feel safe during the research work because, for example, they will take my temperature before I enter the house, and also when I come to the lab, they will advise me to wash the hand before we enter the lab, and also after we finish our lab. They will arrange the table for us and also the chair with the social distancing of at least 1 meter.
When I enter UCSI University, I feel safe because when we first enter the gate, they actually do the temperature check, and then we also need to log in for their traceability system purposes. And when I enter the school, they actually do the preventive measures such as we cannot sit whenever we want. That we actually do social distancing very good in the school.
During MCO, I already wear mask every day. Every time I go out, and then I bring hand sanitizer with me. So it's like a training. I get used to it already.
So for students who are working in the lab, we are separated into 2 sessions. So some of us are actually coming in the morning session, and the others are coming in the afternoon session. Also, we have a different isolated working station in each lab, so that we are practicing the social distancing with each other.
During this period with our friends, we need to sit very far from each other. Even if we are going out, we need to wear masks, use hand sanitizer. A bit of troublesome, but we are getting used to it.
I think the online classes helped me the most is that I can have more interaction and I have no fear or shy to ask questions.
As in now, actually it doesn't really make a huge difference. Although yes, we have to have the social distancing SOP, we cannot sit near our friends, but I feel that doesn't really affect our studies per se.
Okay guys, that's all for today. I hope you've got some insights into what's going on with the world today. Thank you for watching and see you again next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.